So looking at this graph, the only thing I want you to do is answer the questions. You don't have to copy down all of this information. Just look at the graph, tell me the vertex, if that's a max or a min, the domain and the range. That's all I want. So I'll give you about a minute to try to do it on your own, and then we will go through it together. And I'll zoom in as much as I can without taking off the words. But you all should know what that says. Vertex, max, min, domain, range. So see if you can look at that. This is the highest point. That would be the vertex. So that's written as an ordered pair. Yes. Oh, I thought y'all had those memorized. Vertex, max, min, domain, range. That's it. All right. Where is the vertex, the highest point? 0, 2. Good job. This is the location. So this one, A is negative. See how this one is a frown? So if it's a frown, does it have a maximum or a minimum? Maximum. Good. So our domain, nobody should miss that when you have your skills check this week. That's all real numbers. Okay, range. Negative infinity. So Donathan said negative infinity to what? Positive 2. This gets a bracket. Infinity gets a parentheses. Positive 2 gets a bracket. Who had those all 4 right? I'm just curious where we at. All right, who had everything but the range right? The range is tricky. The range is tricky. Again, you're looking at the lowest point, which if it's pointing down, the lowest is negative infinity. And then the highest would be the top of the hill. And we're only focusing on the y values for range. Okay, so let's go to our notes. We're at the bottom of page 6. So let's go to the bottom of page 6. In your note packet. Let me put that away from me. Sure. All right, so we're still, so 1.1 is a lot like, this is 1.2. And 1.2 is really a lot like 1.1. It's not anything different, except we're adding solutions. That's the only thing that's different. Okay, so first of all, what is standard form? There's 3 different ways to write an equation for a parabola, but right now we're still talking about standard form. So this is standard form. That's where we have no parentheses. It's the one that has no parentheses. And the equation for axis of symmetry is negative b divided by 2a. And I would say that last week, the hardest part is students not following the formula. You have to take the b value and flip the sign. You have to. So we're adding on one more component, which is the solution. Now, a solution is where the graph crosses the x-axis. And there's actually 3 different words that mean solution. So the first one starts with an R. Does anybody know what that is? It's, think of a tree, think about what's in the ground. A root. So roots. That's the first synonym for solution. It means the same thing. So if you're taking a skills check or a test or on the final, if it says find the roots, it's asking for the solutions. The second one starts with the letter Z and it's a number. 0. So we could say zeros. Find the zeros. And then the last one that means solution is x-intercepts. So these are all synonyms, and they are all referring to the same thing. And can you write where it says intercept? This is when y equals 0. That's the definition of an intercept, of an x-intercept. All right, does everybody have a calculator on their desk? Because you're going to need one today. Okay, so let's look at some parabolas. And I know yours is pretty light. You probably can't. Can you see it? Oh, yeah, you can see it. All right, so again, I'm looking at where it crosses the x-axis. I'm going to actually highlight. This is the x-axis. This is the parabola. Where does that parabola, when does the blue graph touch the red axis? Antonia is shaking her head like this. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have one. That is possible. You can have a quadratic that has no solution. So for your x-intercept, you would say there's none. Your solution, you don't have any. You can say NA, not applicable. Not, we don't have that. That is possible. All right, second, I have my red axis, and then I have my graph. Right here. Okay, where does the blue graph touch the red axis? It touches right here. And it's only at one spot. And what does x equal right there? 3. So whenever you're asked to write the x-intercept, you have to write that as an ordered pair. This is the only way to show me that it's an x-intercept. But if it asks for the solution, you could say x equals 3. That's really important. If it's an intercept, you have to write it as an ordered pair. If it's solution, you just say x equals. All right, last one. Again, this is my axes. This is my parabola. I'm just tracing it through. So this one crosses twice, here and here. So now we have 2 solutions. So what would be my 2 solutions? 2 and -2. Good job. So I have a solution at +2, 0, and I also have one at -2, 0. So you could say x equals 2, x equals -2. So everything we're going to do, we're only doing, I think we have two that we're working through today. Same steps as 1.1, except now I'm also asking for the x-intercept. So let's go ahead and go through the next one together. Example 2 on page 7. I know mine doesn't look exactly like yours. I had to make it fit, but it has all the same pieces there. So let's start off with A, B, and C. So Christian, what's A, B, and C?
A is 1. B is 4x.
Just 4.
C is 4.
Perfect. So we got 1, 4, 4. All right, so now we're going to find the axis of symmetry. This is where we go left. Not just third period, second period, and fifth period. When you find the axis of symmetry, it's the opposite of B. So if B is positive 4, what am I putting in my equation? What's the opposite of positive 4? Dwayne, what's the opposite of positive 4? Negative 4. That's going to go right here. And that's divided by 2 times 1. So you have negative 4 divided by 2. Go ahead and see what that is. So what did we get? What's negative 4 divided by positive 2? Good job. Good job. So on the test, because you know it's coming, you got a skill check this week. If you put this, I am not giving you full credit. What do I have to write to get full credit for axis of symmetry? X equals negative 2. You have to put that negative 2, that x equals. All right, so now let's go to our table. That is going to go in the middle. And if you look at the board, I kind of put a box because I finally got my number line together. So negative 2 is in the middle. It doesn't matter what direction you put your numbers. You can go big to small, small to big. I'm going to go small to big. So I have negative 4, negative 3, negative 1, and 0. And my equation that I'm using over and over again, x squared plus 4x plus 4. All right, so now it's time to pick up our calculators. So I'm putting in negative 4, then I'm putting in negative 3, and negative 2, negative 1, and 0. So because I listed my numbers in order, these two numbers should be a match, and so should these two. So take a minute. Find your 5 numbers. grab that calculator for Jada so she can participate? She feel left out. There you go. Thank you, Dakota. Looking a lot better though. Feel like it's clicking.
Do your work, bro. I'm already
Looking so much better than last week. I was so nervous,
not enough.
but it's looking better. Much better. Much better. Yeah, much better. Cause boy, was I nervous. I was like, I don't know what else to do. Close. Okay. So, you all did good. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Cause I was nervous. For real. So, as far as I can see, everybody had the correct numbers, which were 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. Does that look familiar? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and graph it. So -4 up 4, -3 up 1, -2's on the x-axis. All right, so I'm gonna curve it. Try to hit my points. Okay. So for your vertex, in this case, is that a minimum or a maximum? Is my vertex the lowest point or the highest point? Lowest. So this has a minimum. I'm gonna write that. It didn't ask you, but it will be on the test, or you have to tell me that. So this is a minimum. And the order pair for the minimum is the middle order pair, which is -2, 0. But if you look at this graph, the vertex is also the solution. Because that's the only place where the graph touches the x-axis right here. So this point is the vertex and it's the x-intercept. It's both. Yes.
All right, like when you first do the vertex and you do like the formula and you get your answer, can you just write that as one of the answers already?
Yeah, you sure can. So you can write, because you automatically know x. Yeah. So my solution, I would write that as just x equals -2. See, it's the exact same as the axis of symmetry. That doesn't happen often though. But if I ask you for the x-intercept, you have to write that as an order pair. So my domain would be all real numbers. Now here's the hard part. The range. Range is only y. So I want you to look over here. What's the smallest number in this column? 0. So 0 would be my smallest y value. And it's going up towards infinity. A lot of people are putting the -2, but that's x. Yes, Stefan.
You did the range by like looking at the columns. Like,
Yeah. You can look at the column, you can look at the graph, whichever way is easier to you. Yeah. All right, we got one more, and then we will start talking about homework, because I got quite a few people who have not turned in the homework, which is due tomorrow. So I'm going to give you all 5 minutes to work through this question on your own, and then we will go through it together. 2 times 1. So the formula is at the bottom. I don't have a mark over here. You see where it's in the box? And then divided by 2 times 8. So my big 1 is 2 times 1. All right, we're gonna keep working. I have minutes to pass. So what is it? Yes. Y'all, that was really good. Let's do it. I will say again, I was nervous. I was telling my math friends, I was like, I don't know about this year. I done ran out of tricks and things to say. But I felt like we turned the corner. That was really good. All right, so axis of symmetry. I only had to correct a couple people. So A is 1, B is 2, C is -3. It's the opposite, so it has to be a -2. And that's divided by 2 times A. And when you type that in your calculator, you should get -1. So that's going to go right here. And then I'm going to look and find my other numbers. And then from there, I see you. I do. I'm not saying nothing, but I see you. I got eyes. So let me come over here so y'all don't think I'm crazy, I guess. I've been doing this 19 years, y'all. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. All right, so -3. You should have a 0. And then you should have -3 here. And then -4 right here. All right, who had that for their table? Okay, so now we're ready to graph it. That should be my graph. Yes. Which one did I use for?
Because I was like talking about the -2 here, like to find that one, which number here.
There is no +2. I'll come back. Give me a minute. Okay, so now the vertex is -4. Sorry, it's not -4. It's -1, -4. Who had that? So how many spots does this graph go through the x-axis? 2 times. So we have 2 solutions. X equals -3 and x equals 1. Now, if it asks you for the x-intercepts, we're going to put -3, 0 and +1, 0. So the domain never changes. That is always all real numbers. But when you look at your y values, what's the lowest it goes? That's my lowest, and then the numbers are all greater than. If you look here at the number line, this is the lowest y value, and the numbers are getting bigger. So it's -4, and it's getting bigger, and it's going to keep getting bigger. So that means my range will be -4 with a bracket, 2 parentheses. To infinity, parentheses, sorry. All right, so can everybody take out homework 1? I have about 7 or 8 people who've already turned it in. If you don't have a copy, there's extras over there from last week. That is due on Tuesday. I do realize that a couple people, not many, it's like a handful, have already turned them in. So you just sit tight. I'm talking to the other 17, 18 people. Still don't take out no phones. Just relax. So let's talk about homework 1. So I need to homework is a big part of the class. The reason why is if you're not good at taking tests, your homework grade is what's going to save you. Because that's going to give you 20%. So if you are normally taking a test and you get F's, let's say you get an F on every single test. Every single test you get an F, but you do your homework, you're still going to make it out with at least a D. I have an issue failing a student that turns in their homework. It's a personal thing. Because I get it. We're not all math people, and that's fine. But if I see you're trying and you turning in your homework, you will get your credit. Did you turn in your homework? All right, so let's go ahead and look at this one. So A, B, and C. We're just going to get this one started. A is 1, B is 6, C is 8. So we have X equals the opposite of B. So if B is +6, what am I putting in my formula? -6. That's always going to be divided by 2 times A. So you have -6 divided by 3. So you should be writing X equals -3 right here. All right, who can tell me which one of these gives me my y-intercept? Okay, I don't know what happened with the iPad. It's acting crazy. It always seems to do that. I don't know why. Well, I'm gonna have to